So in the last 30 days, I've shifted 1,080 units, just over 15k.
Hey guys, we're joined here with Sam Daly. He is just joined one of the 10K club, or the 10K club from Stellar Pro Academy. So I brought him on to have a little chat about his experience, and so we can ask him questions. So Sam, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
No worries.
Let's start things off, and I think, can you tell us firstly just your sales for the last 30 days, just so people can understand where you're at?
So in the last 30 days, I've shifted 1,080 units. Which is the amount that I was ordering when I started. So I've shifted from when I first started. I did 300 units in a year, and I've shifted that in a month. Well, I've shifted more than that in a month now.
And what does that roughly equate to in revenue?
So just over 15k.
Nice, fantastic. So just over 15k in 30 days as well.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Congratulations. Okay, so I think tell us all a little bit about why you wanted to get started on Amazon in the first place. Like, were you looking at other options? A little bit about why you chose Amazon way back when you did.
So I started about 2 years ago now, and I stumbled across a video on YouTube which was like make 10k in a month, and the instant thought that came to my mind was this is a load of BS. I thought that there's no possible way you could do that. Little did I know 2 years later that I would be doing it, well, more than that. I watched the video and it kind of played on my mind that is slightly possible. Started getting into it. By no means was it as easy as the video made out. By a long shot, it wasn't. I've had a lot of ups and downs in this journey. A lot of times, I'm going to throw it in, throw the towel in, and be like, "No, I'm not doing it anymore." But I'm so glad I stuck with it. I've finally seen results, and not only have I seen results, and I believe in what's possible with it. So there's so much more that I can do and take where I can take my brand.
So has your perspective change, like maybe even your money perspective, has that changed at all since when you first started to what it is now?
So my perspective has changed colossally with this. My money perspective at the moment hasn't really changed because everything's within the business. So I'm keeping everything in there. I could take money out, but then I'm just affecting the growth of my business. I'd rather take a larger chunk out than drips and drabs. But now it is to really grow the business, because it's sorting out the supply line and building that, because at the minute I'm getting a load of stock, selling it all, running out, getting a load of stock, selling it all, running out, which isn't an ideal situation. I'd rather have consistent sales and consistent stock.
Yeah, exactly. And that will happen eventually. It will always happen. And we spoke before this. Hopefully the government-backed loan scheme might help that tension for you, and for many other people that are watching, that if you haven't looked into that, if you have stock constraints at the moment and you're ordering stock, it's selling out, and you're waiting to get your money back to then order more, and you're going out of stock in that time, look at the COVID government-backed loan, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put a link down below the video and see if you can apply for it and get some funding from the government, or funding from your bank backed by the government. So it's a really good idea. So what concerns did you have before starting? Were there, if you think back to that point and you're like, right, I'm going to enroll in Jonny Trading, what concerns did you have, or were there any?
So when I first come across it and I went down to my dad, I said, "Oh, Dad, I'm going to try doing this." And my dad's a very skeptical person. He's one of the people that believe, go get a job. I've got a good job. And he's like, make sure you get a good pension. My job has to have a good pension, fortunately. I'm not trying to brag about it, but he was like, you need to do that. And I was always like, but I don't want to do that. And even now, he's still, so he didn't expect it to do well, but now it's doing really well. He's kind of like, that's unreal. But even now, when I still say to him, I'm going to try and look to leave a job by the end of the year, he's like, no, don't do that. So it's kind of like complete two different ends of the spectrum. There's me here being like, I can do this, and there's him like, you got to have that safety net. I'm like, well, but business is my safety net now.
Exactly. Well, that's the point. Yeah, like especially when we look at what's happening at the moment in all around the world. You know, a lot of people with jobs. You know, you're not fortunate. A lot of people aren't fortunate, and they're like, right, well, you know, I'm either not going to be able to have a job when this is all over, or I'm struggling financially, or whatever it may be. And Amazon, obviously, at the moment is crazy. Like people making money hand over fist. So I think now is just that perfect time where you can start something like this up, because it's, you know, we think about high demand, low competition, right? Well, Amazon as a whole is very high demand, low competition right now, and I think it will be for the next few months as well. Certainly, probably for the rest of this year. So it's a really good space to be, and I think you can capitalize on that as well. So hopefully, and I think a lot of people will do the same, where they'll think, oh, my job's not actually as secure I thought it was going to be. So what can I do to prevent issues from the future? But yeah, it's always good to have multiple income streams. But yeah, I remember I had people telling me when I was like thinking about quitting my job, like saying, don't quit, it's going to be a massive mistake. And I had the thought of, well, actually, it feels like a bigger risk to stay at work. It feels like, like I can't then put my time into the things I want to put time into. I think they'll get a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to like do this.
It's still, as much as I want to do it, it still is a scary thought because I have like this virus. I've not been able to go into the office for a long time. The amount that I've realised that you'll miss that social interaction, not having a full job. I think I've missed that a bit. Solely working by myself. There's only so many mates I could irritate throughout the week. Definitely. But like most of my friendship circles and my friendship groups, none of them have anything on the side going on, let alone a business that can pay them a full-time income. So I'd definitely be in that respect, be on my own quite a lot throughout the week, which I think would be quite lonely.
I mean,
maybe I'll have to come and irritate you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just got to invent some imaginary friends, and it's all fine. Anyway. So how have your friends responded to it? In terms of, do you kind of share much with them, because then maybe they're not that business interested, but
I started to at the start when I was getting some results, but a lot of people do take the mick and do judge. Like my product and niche, it did attract a lot of mickey taking. It still does when I tell people what I'm selling, they still go, "Really, you're making money from that? Like that's ridiculous." But at the end of the day, if it works and I'm making money from it, I don't really care what they're going to be saying, because I'm the one that's making money from it.
I think it's that saying. I'll probably hash it up, but like at first they like mock you, then they and then they copy you or whatever it is. Generally what happens, they're like, nah, it can't be right. Like, nah, it's rubbish.
It's funny you said that, because I saw that image on Instagram the other day. Literally saw that image on Instagram the other day.
I had the same thing. A lot of people mocked me, and then the same people like a year later, like, cool, so tell me, like, what do I do? I'm like, well, you should have listened a year ago. But that generally happens, So you have a full-time job, right? When you started setting all this up, you would have been, working in the office. How did you find your time management? Did you allocate certain times in the day to set up on Amazon, or how did you manage that process?
So to be honest, at the start, I wasn't as serious as I am now about it. My dad put the thought in my head that my dad has been supportive about it, but he kind of was like, when someone's like that skeptical about it, you kind of a little bit. Yeah, it does rub off on you. No matter how hard you try not to, it does rub off on you. So at the start, I was probably putting in, I don't know. I wouldn't say I put in that much time at all at the start. Now I'm putting in a lot more time. I'm putting in, working on it every day, looking at it, seeing why things are dropping or why things are going up, see if I can pinpoint that and try and accelerate them, or if it's something negative, slow it down. But in terms of actual time, I probably couldn't put a number on it. It's kind of as and when things come up. Some people, I think it depends more on the person. Some people are like them people that love to be busy, or it's working smart, not hard at the same time.
Yeah. So
That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah. So you could still manage doing your job and doing everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to, but I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much time roughly a day are you spending on it at the moment?
Um. So I'm working.
Not and checking your sales does not count.
I check that every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd probably say a couple of hours every day
Yeah.
now.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
And in that time, what are you doing? Just kind of like researching like competitors and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
I'm doing a lot of, especially on the main competitor. I'm doing a lot of looking on that, keywords, where I am at the ranks, why is one dropping, and one isn't, or why am I higher on another, or jumped up on one day and come down a little bit on another.
Nice.
As we just spoke about earlier, I need to look into the PPC a lot more and get that going.
Yeah, and that's roughly bringing you like £400-500 in daily sales, sometimes more.
What, the PPC?
No, just generally, because it's about 50. What's that?
Yeah, so sales a day, I'm averaging between 1,000 and 500 a day.
Amazing. That's great work. That's great. It's amazing. So I guess in terms of your goals for the future of like not just this product, but the brand, the Amazon stuff, like what 2020, do you have any goals that you've set out or anything that you want to try and achieve with it?
So yeah, definitely to have that freedom where I can just, I'd like to say I would be able to quit my job by the end of 2020. But I think knowing that I could quit my job would probably be a better position to be in rather than have quit. So I could go into work, have an absolute shit day, and just know that I don't need it. I don't have to do that. Which would probably be a better position, a place which I'd rather be at. But if I can quit my job, I probably would be in that position anyway.
Is there any kind of financial goals you have for the Amazon business?
So yeah, to scale it up colossally. So I want to try and get them 6-figure months in now, which is great. I want to bring on more products because that's it. That's one of the biggest ways that you start expanding your e-commerce stores and more products. Obviously, start doing some of the things that you may not be doing brilliantly, making them perfect, and then releasing more products.
So were there any like moments where you did your first like 10K month or anything like that, or even your first sale? Like how did they feel? Or did you just wake up one morning and went, oh, that's cool? Or how did you feel when those things happened?
So the thing that I love looking at is when you have a really good day. So like when I first started, I got one sale, and on the app, the bar looks really big. Yeah, and then when I did 10 sales, that one sale looks really small. I was like, oh, that's really good. And then when it goes up to 20 sales, you're like, oh, that bar's even bigger. But then when you're hitting like 100 sales a day, the one sale bar you can't even see, and then like the 10 and 20 bar sales are like, well, that looks like a 1 day sale. That's something that still doesn't sit right with me now.
Yeah. And then what advice would you give to someone that's watching this video and they're in maybe the position you were in a year, 2 years ago, with maybe similar concerns to that you have? What would you say to that person? What advice would you give them?
Don't give up. It does. A lot of times I've thought this isn't possible. You can't make money from it. I'm going to give up. And there's a lot of negative stigma about people or a lot of negativity around there, people that have failed. But it's like anything, you get out what you put in. And so many people say that, but the people that do see it are the ones that are willing to put the effort in. And not only that, but also be in it for the long run. A lot of people are sold that it can take, like you can get to where you are in 6 months. It's taken me 2 years to get to where I am today. And I could have quit after that 6 months. I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, exactly. It's consistently taking action.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this isn't a make money fast, get rich quick thing. It's just not that
there is no such thing.
It doesn't exist, but it's certainly not one of those businesses. Just because, as you said earlier, if you want to scale, you need to reinvest your profits. So, and then to a point where you can then take out, let's say $5,000 a month or 10 grand a month, and it's just like, it doesn't even scratch the surface. You're like, oh, like that's just a few percent of my monthly revenue. But that's how you get to that point, isn't it? It's through reinvesting, through building and building and building to the point where you can take money out and just be like, cool, this doesn't affect the growth anymore. So yeah, consistent action is really, really important. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. That's wicked. Is there anything else that you wanna mention? Anything else you want to say to anyone watching?
No, well, other than just don't give up, keep going. I've probably been in the same boat as a lot of you guys that are not doing or struggling, but it does get better if you keep going at it.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No worries.
And if anyone has any questions, if they can put it in the comments, do you have a YouTube account that you can comment with?
I'm not. Well, I have YouTube. I will go on YouTube and I have like a Google login. But yeah, I can have a look and respond.
Stick around the comments for the next couple of days once we post it. So if anyone has any questions that I forgot to ask, because I'm sure there will be, then obviously you can put it down in the comments, guys, and Sam will try to get back to you. But maybe
give me a little nudge. Give me a little nudge, and I'll respond.
Exactly. Wicked. All right. Thank you so much, Sam. And
no worries.